Pull up a chair. This is Fluxtaposed, episode 229, recorded on September 8th, 2018. On the docket today, IRL. There ain't no G's. Get caught up on what you're playing, featuring Kong, Spidey, and classics. Finally, yes, finally, we will close out the show with that community grab bag and that sweet, 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 awkward finish. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And as always, please enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of Fluxtaposed. I am Jason Lacey. I'm thrilled to have you here with us tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for just being you, because you're the only you that you can be. Joining me tonight, Mr. Lucas Rose.
As always.
And we have a special ghost. And a special guest. He's a ghost of his former self. A special guest, Mr. Donatello Donalicious Reese himself.
Lil Don.
Greetings, Koopalings. What's going on?
What's up, buddy?
Hey. Exciting night.
I figured
Flux.
since I can't show up to Nintendo Shack, we just have you on Fluxtaposed.
Just I come over here.
Yeah, it just works out better that way.
I could have just called out. That would have been fun. I could just not show.
You could have.
Mm-mm.
At least last week, I feel like I had a moderately good excuse. I didn't even get to watch the direct until like 10:30. That's my.
I just took it personally because I called out for Fluxtaposed. I also had a good excuse, pneumonia, but I mean, we'll see.
His lasers are set to stun, ladies and gents. It are. Well, Donnie, thank you for coming back. Welcome to your first full Fluxtaposed experience. You only got halfsies last time. Now you're here. Now you're here for the whole sandwich.
Ooh.
I'll tell you, it's filling.
All 12 inches.
Wow. Just going right there.
Let him take another drink. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this.
It's a foot long, is what it is.
A baker's dozen.
Gorgonzola. I don't even know. Donnie, welcome though. Welcome all the same. Thanks for stopping by. We're happy to have you here. The king of PSVG, the hype machine of Make Us Better.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know. You have many titles. You have many roles. You have many parts to play. Many yet unforeseen. But soon to be discovered. And then there's Lucas. Beautiful Lucas. He's a nice guy too. He's always here.
Hi. I'm always here. Nobody's glad I'm here. I'm old news.
I'm glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Lucas,
well, there wouldn't be a show without me.
Yeah, you're like the...
Literally.
You're like the... What's the name I want to use here? I can't think of the actor's name now. I think his first name is Hank, but I can't remember his last name.
I think you're proving a very good point in that you can't remember the guy's name.
All I can think of is Hank Azaria, and it's not him. It's the one old guy that's just always around, and he had all those. Many people say he died, but he's kept on living, and he's been in like a ton of movies. I don't remember his name.
Well, you're great at describing. He's an old guy. He's been in a ton of movies. He's an old guy.
I mean, but you're just always there. You're dependable. You're dependable. I'm Michael Caine.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Paul Calico's in the chat. What's up, Paul? Happy to have you here, buddy.
He's like, I showed up for this.
I showed up for this. Yes. Guys, let's get the normals out of the way. We've got the Patreon goals. Preaching out for that $90 hit. Get that Fluxtaposed AMA. It'll be good times. You want to do it. Netflixation. We had a vote. We had a poll. We put it up on the Twitterverse. Some controversy here. We had some irate comments. Actually, we just had one irate comment. Denny, I love you. Denny, I love Denny Lewis. If you guys don't follow Denny on Twitter or check out his craft beer podcast. You probably should. But Denny had a personal crusade against Lucas's
My choice. My choice.
He was not having that win. He wanted a Western, damn it, and he was doing all that he could to make it happen. Unfortunately, Denny, the campaign came up just a little short because I can't even remember the name of your movie, Lucas. I'm trying to look at the poll. So
I think. Do you want me to use the Denny Luce name, or would you like me to use the real name? Because I'm not going to say that on the air. It was Mary and the Witch's Flower. Hello. Very, very masculine sounding title if I'd ever heard one.
And, you know, and it might be. I don't know. Come on, if the anime Witches insert comment here wins, I boycott the episode. So Denny will not be listening.
It starts with a T and ends with a Watt. That's how you get around that so creatively.
Well, Denny will not be listening to the first episode of October. We've made that clear now. But yes, we'll be watching Mary and the Witch's Castle. My choice
Flower.
did not.
Damn you. I couldn't tell if you were being funny or...
Mary and the Witch's Flower, Mylon's Magic Castle.
Mary and the Witch's Moving Castle with Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, Hostiles did not make the cut, so there you go. You've got an anime magical wonderland. I'm sure I'm going to love it. I'm sure my wife will want to watch it too. I can tell, feel it already. But we will watch that. We'll discuss it on the first episode of next month. That will be Netflix Asian.
You don't sound biased at all.
I gotta play the part, man. We all have a part to play. Thank you to everyone that voted. We'll play it. We'll do it all again in another month. We'll see what happens. Oh, I forgot to do the Flex with Flux thing. Now it's just over. I missed my opportunity. I think Caro and Sean do it better than me anyway. Donnie, you have a tagline. You know, Lucas has a tagline probably. I'm
gonna go eat pizza rolls. That's my tagline.
that was your tagline. That was great. Donnie, do we need to do a quick aside for people? I think all of our listeners might probably know the infamous Donnie Reese.
I would hope so. Yeah.
I mean, you're a good friend of the show. We've known you a long time. He's the Mario guy. He's the golf guy. He's the Nintendo guy. He's a cool guy.
Man, like Golf Story's getting a collector's edition.
Dude, how excited are you for that? I think that's so cool for you.
Like it looks like there's like a trophy and like a membership card. Like I want to know what else. They keep releasing these little snapshots of what it could be.
Do you think you're gonna get like a scorecard to one of the courses? That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe.
Like Warren Grove.
I hope it's awesome because I mean they've been hyping. They just keep like every day they just tweet like a little corner of it. And they're like, check this little thing out.
Who's publishing that? The physical?
Limited Run Games.
So it's Limited Run, and who's the other company that does a lot of the physical release? There's like Super Rare. Is that the other one? The one whoever did the release for Jules' game, Mutant Muds. I think it's Super Rare or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Typing.
Me neither. Yeah. Welcome to Fluxtaposed, everybody.
Sorry.
You've met all the requirements now. Good job.
You are right. Yeah, Mutant Muds.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, though.
No, I know. I'm saying I see on Super Rare that there is Mutant Mud, so that is how I know that's what you're talking about.
Trash Turkey saves me. He says it's Super Rare. Thank you, sir.
Very nice.
It's kind of interesting. I've always kind of wondered, like, there's not too many games I have physical. I mean, digital that I think I'd like to own physical. I think maybe a physical version of Hyper Light Drifter would be cool for me, just because I do like that. However, the first one, I take that back. That Toe Jam and Earl physical looks sweet. I would, if I had a chance at that, I would probably jump all over that because they captured like the old school Genesis art on the box and everything with that black and white grid and looks cool. I like it.
I don't have any room for anything, so
you gotta get your standard
shelves, man.
You gotta get your standard gamer issue IKEA shelf.
That's true. I want to. I want to.
See, I got the starter set. And it's expandable. You just add on to it. And nobody knows.
You're right.
It's perfect.
You're right. I want to, but you know.
Or you can get like the cheaper version from Target.
Hey, my wife, can I buy some stuff for my game room while we have other rooms to worry about in the house?
Well, your insurance fraud tactic didn't pay off, so
that's true. They found the axe in the water pipe, and they were like, this seems suspicious.
Speaking of that, how's the spot in the ceiling?
It's fine. I just need to repair it. That's all.
Oh, okay.
It dried up nice. We probably won't fall through.
There's no risk of standing in the tub and ending up in the kitchen below you? Okay.
Right. Well, I'm just going to put a little thing on the floor that says don't stand here. And then I'll just assume that most people listen to that. So, yeah, that's how you fix that problem.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, since I've already set it up, why don't we roll into some IRL? Lucas, you had an anniversary.
I did.
Congratulations.
I did. Me and my wife, we celebrated on Saturday, although yesterday technically was the day in question.
And mine's Thursday. We're close.
What?
Oh,
wow. Twinsies. Twinsies double times 2 squared.
Mine's a month away.
Well, we'll talk about that in a month, I guess, won't we?
Yep.
You should have Jessica come on, but I'll be on at the same time this time, unlike last time.
I don't know if I could talk. You know, if we were audio only, I probably would. Video.
That's true.
Video's
a whole nother game.
I'll give her my luchador mask and she has to wear that the whole time.
She probably looked pretty good with the long black hair coming out of the mask. She'll look like
she looked like Lycosis.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah. So what we did was we went out to, well, originally we were going to play putt-putt golf because there was a Groupon coupon for us to do so. Now, I'm starting to become a little leery of Groupon because I feel like the only things that participate in Groupon are businesses who can't seem to pull in business without using Groupon. Or at least that's been kind of the case. There's a
reason they're trying to bring in business.
Yes,
they don't have any.
Yeah. So this place, Jason, this will mean something to you. It won't mean anything to anybody else. This place was over by you. It's the Village. The Village.
That's the place I stole miniature golf from.
You stole from them, huh?
Yes, because I tried to pay and nobody wanted to work the front desk. I pushed the buzzer. I stood there for 5 minutes. Nobody came up to take my money, so we just played. Came back when we were done, and nobody still wanted to work the desk, so I just dropped off the clubs and walked off.
That doesn't surprise me at all because this place, let's put it this way, we pulled in because we didn't know, we'd never been there, so we pulled in.
This place is literally like 2 minutes from my house.
Yes. And the thing you need to know is as soon as you pull in, you see somebody's house right there. And you're like, did I go in the wrong driveway? What's going on? Yeah. It's a residence.
It's like a family. It's like a family originally, developed this, created this on their property. And I'm assuming it's not that same family that owns it, but it's a different family. And the fun fact, it's right by the highway on ramp and by the river. And like every year it floods or almost floods when the waters rise up in the thaw.
That would explain why the disrepair that this place was in.
I think that's the original course and it's never been updated. It's very much like that typical 1960s miniature golf.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The metal ramps and loop-to-loops.
Yeah, and it's all janky and your ball gets stuck in places it's not supposed to. And we almost turned around because we're just like this, like there was nobody there, and we're just like, what is going on? But then we were like, we had this stroke of like, you know what? Screw it.
What was the Groupon deal?
2 people to play for $8.50. So about the price of 1.5 people. I mean, you got like buy one get one.
That sounds like a buy one get one free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost. I just used the 5-finger discount.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there was somebody working when we showed up.
Hey, I tried.
You did. You should have just left the money on the table. And then it would have blown away in the wind.
No, you should not have.
This is the year 2018. Who carries around money?
That's true.
Want me to just leave my debit card? Here's my PIN number.
That's true. Yes. No. They don't even know anybody was there. I saw this place. They didn't know.
The real question is who won and did you bet?
We didn't bet anything. We didn't bet anything.
You don't bet? Oh man.
Well, we were too busy being creeped out to. This is the kind of place that you show up where an 80s horror movie starts and you never leave. At least not with your life.
I'm going to post some photos in the chat for people to
Yes, please.
See.
They are. It is janky. I'm not kidding when I say there's like a house 5 feet away from the course. It's very odd.
That's weird.
It's very weird. It does not feel legit at all. But it was a fun time, except for we got eaten up by mosquitoes. And we also didn't die. We were not murdered by anybody. But the course sucked.
Were there clowns?
There weren't any clowns, no. Half of the obstacles, so to speak, weren't really working, or at least weren't working correctly. And
this is your anniversary. The the love of your life. You took her some.
No, she took me.
Putt-putt.
She knows I like putt-putt golf, and so she was like,
Lucas is like, I didn't pay.
exactly, exactly. It was a fun time. Oh yes, there you go. Look at that.
I'm trying to get one of the. Oh, here's a good one.
Real
This should
talk
be-
guide to awesome.
We're looking at pictures of this place. That's about
Wow.
exactly what it looked like. Let's see what this other
Yikes.
one is.
This looks like a city operated putt-putt course or something.
Oh, like it was built next to like a community center or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that would be nicer actually.
like a community project.
See, the second picture makes it look a little bit nicer because there's people there. From what I
Here,
can tell.
here's the picture that sold Lucas on it. This is from Groupon, apparently.
Yes. Well, my wife. My wife.
It's a wholesome family.
Oh, that's
Playing
nice.
miniature golf.
That's
That
not even
never
the same
happened.
golf
That's
course.
not even the golf. Yes.
And judging by the clothes, it's from like 1997.
I'd say
Look at like the vegetation. There's like willows and stuff in the background. That's not Michigan. That's,
that looks like Arizona or New Mexico.
it does. It's like, that's not even the same state.
No wonder why.
So,
No wonder.
come to scenic Granville. We've got crappy miniature golf and a tiny microbrewery.
Well, and
18 churches.
unfortunately, we were there and we were like, I'm really thirsty. Or Danette was like, I'm really thirsty. And I'm like, well, that's okay because I need a snack or something because I'm hungry. Because
Hey,
before this,
Your Groupon Selective. You
of
can
course,
buy it
I don't
weekly.
I don't think that ever is going to go away inactive. So we got there.
It's number 6 of 12 things to do in Granville, according to TripAdvisor.
Oh God. Wow.
And it's on the Pure Michigan website.
Well, in Granville, I'm not surprised.
There's not much here. There's a
Um,
bowling alley and a roller rink.
So we're like, oh yeah, well they'll have snacks or whatever because I saw they had ice cream. It was closed. There's nobody working it. It's just, prime time, noon. Nobody working the snack center on a Saturday. Makes sense.
Gosh.
So
So this is really people that the fact that it's attached to their house is probably why they still run this business. Otherwise, they have no interest in running this business.
pretty much all these pictures are making it look better than it really was. I really feel that way.
No, look at this one where it's got the wooden border for the straightaway, the fairway. There.
Oh, and it's just all cracked.
The board is warped off, so there's a gap of grass and dirt in between. It's not form fitting to the actual.
Yep, I had to deal. No, we call that an obstacle where I come from.
Or why is there this close up one of the rotting board?
That's what
and
I thought you were
random yellow
talking
golf
about.
ball? And that thing where that kid's got his hand reaching it, that thing sucks. That little spinny, yeah, it doesn't work right.
Well,
That thing
because
sucks.
the ramp is so broken and like bent up that it gets stuck on the ramp instead of actually going up the ramp into the wheel. But
Or
anyways,
they let a bush overgrow over the green.
again, it's an obstacle. So we but before this, it was a decent time. We had a good laugh about it. That was really the takeaway was that was kind of crappy and fun to do. At least we did it.
I mean,
We'll never
yeah.
go back, but
It's better than going all the way out to like Craig's Cruisers or something.
yeah,
I mean-
exactly. Especially because you're paying to not do the extra stuff like golf
Yeah.
carts and arcade and whatever.
Yeah.
But before that, we went to the corner record shop, Jason. Now,
Oh.
I bring this up because I was looking for some specific things as I was flipping through the records. And Danette comes over to me and she's like, there's like a back room back there. And for some
isn't
reason,
that awesome.
well, my first thought was like,
It's huge.
before we went in, I was like a back room at a video store. Like that's what I thought she was talking about, like some kind of
Oh,
adult video
This is where the
section or something.
adult vinyl's
I'm like,
at.
what are you talking about back room? And she's like, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone go in there or anything. And I was like, well, I'll go over there and check it out. So we look in it, do the timid, like, are we supposed to be back here? But you're right. You go back there and it's freaking awesome. I didn't know if you knew about it, but they have like 2 arcade games back there and their whole country
Yeah.
section was back there, which is why Danette wanted to go back there.
That's like the spot, like before they open it to the public. That's where like the employees just go back and smoke a J and then just hang out when there's no customers. You know?
Yeah. I don't blame them because it's freaking sweet. It's really well decorated too. It actually looks very, very fancy schmancy. Have you been
Did you see
upstairs?
that? I haven't been upstairs.
It looked like they had like a listening area, but I couldn't tell. There was a lot of padded chairs and stuff up there, but I didn't go up.
Sit at your own risk, I think.
That's a little squishy.
Speaking of vinyl, were you on my stream Saturday when I opened up this one?
It was, I had jumped in just before. I was trying to figure out what you were doing because you were playing Punch Out, right?
I was playing Punch Out, but I opened this. But check out how cool the actual color on this. This is Ballads of Hyrule by Rosen, released by Materia Collective. But look at that. It's a nice white vinyl. That's cool, right?
That is cool.
Sorry.
Look how cool I am stuff.
My white vinyl, you guys. If you're listening, I'm sorry. You just don't get the
full effect. And then lastly, because we were in let's just do things we haven't done before. We were trying to figure out where to go to eat, and as you know, we were thinking about going to a local brewery around here. But instead, we didn't feel like fried food and burgers or whatever. So I was like, you know what? We'll just go to On the Border. You like On the Border, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. So we get over there, and then I see that Japanesehibachi restaurant, and I'm like, You know what? I don't think I've ever been there, because we went with you guys, you and Jessica, but it was Kobe, wasn't it?
Kobe, yeah, which Kobe. Closed now. They're like two buildings down.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? Let's just go and see what it's like in there, and
just go for it.
Thankfully, people were actually walking in at the same time as us, because anytime you get to a restaurant and there's nobody there, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm inclined to leave, because I'm like, well, if nobody else is here, then I'm assuming it's probably not that good. So we go inside and we sit down, and it was a nice place. I got basically ramen, and I had wanted to try ramen for a while, and it was okay. It wasn't the best thing to order there, but we did not do the hibachi, unfortunately.
Oh, dang. I've gotten takeout from there. I haven't ever eaten there, but I've gotten takeout from that place a few times. It's all right. I mean, it's a little more on the pricier side. But
yeah, everything was basically $10 or higher.
Yeah,
so.
We've got some coupons though. Got some coops. Gotta get some coops.
Nice.
They have good sushi. They have really good sushi, but hibachi's where it's at.
I almost went with the sushi, but instead I got the nabiyaki soba, which was that picture I shared on the
soba.
It was good, or as they call it, a hot pot.
Did you have a Japanese beverage?
I did. I had a Sapporo. Yeah, I almost got
no sake.
I almost got sake, but it was like $7 for a chilled
sake
shot,
bomb?
Probably. Yeah. So I was like, I don't need this in my life right now. So. Yeah, it was a good time overall. It was one of those let's go do new things type deal.
I want to be like awkward and I love you, man. Where he's like, well, good luck with that. When there's, you know the same.
You be awkward, us be awkward. We don't do that around here.
We don't do that.
We're not awkward at all.
No, Donnie, my friend. For those that don't know, you've been down with the sickness, as we like to say around these parts, for a while. How are you? How are you faring, sir?
I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better today. I'm still not like back, but getting there. But yeah, I've been sick for like the better part of a month. I'm being like attacked by a cat.
Yeah, I noticed him climbing on you.
Yeah, he's all lovey-dovey on me right now, and I'm trying to keep him away from walking on the keyboards, as he likes to do. And also that NES online service has just launched, and we are in. But that aside, I've been sick for like the better part of a month, and at first it was like a cough, and it was, like sometimes you just have a cough. Like I've been burned a few times, so like before I even say this, I don't like going to the doctor. I think most people say they don't like going to the doctor. Like I don't know anybody.
Nobody likes to go to the doctor.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But when I say I don't like going to the doctor, I mean like I've went years without going to the doctor. Like I don't like going to the doctor. Like I have toughed out the flu. Like I will. I got to be really bad to go to the doctor.
You don't get sick until you go to the doctor. That's what I've always said.
That's yes. So I got a cough, but it was just a cough, no fever, no other symptoms. So I was like, it's just a cough. And then the cough got worse, and the cough got worse. And for those of you that follow the PSVG podcast network, we're kind of knee deep in Super Bowl planning here in Atlanta, which I play a big part in. And actually, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, basically when we started playing Overcooked, Lucas, we had NFL plan review meetings. So for like 7 straight work days, I was in a meeting with all these NFL execs, like going through the fire plan, the police plan, the traffic plan, the post plan, the escort plan, the
Mhm.
emergency management plan, like all the plans. I couldn't leave. Like it was mandatory. I had to be there. So I was there the whole time, like with this cough, and it's like progressively getting worse. And then like we had to do some demos with some vendors, and I'd do some tech stuff. So like I couldn't leave. Like I told my boss, because at one time he was like, you shouldn't come to work sick. I was like, tell me which day you'd like me not to be here, and that's the day. And like, well, we got to get this done. I'm like, I know. So I kind of toughed it out for 2 weeks, and it just got worse and worse and worse. So I went to the doctor, and they were like, yeah, you got bronchitis. So they were like, and then the nurse that told me I had bronchitis, she said, 90% chance it's bronchitis, 10% chance it's pneumonia. Okay, so here's some antibiotics, here's some medicine. Take 2 days off, you'll be good. You're not contagious, go back to work. So I did just that. 2 days off, I went back to work. I started to feel better, but like kind of like I am now, not great. Like felt better, but
right, comparatively
not right.
speaking.
Yeah. So I went back to work. I worked for like 2 days. We had like some more NFL meetings, and I just got really worse, like slothfully, no energy worse, like just like diabetic coma, about to fall asleep at my desk worse. Like I couldn't move. I was like, I'm so exhausted right now. And I'm like coughing in my head. Oh, my head felt like it was about to split open. I just looked at my boss. I was like, we were in the middle of a meeting. I was like, I have to go. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I feel so bad right now. He's like, you've been sick for weeks. I was like, I've never felt half as bad as I do at this moment. Like at this moment, I feel terrible. So I go
the fact that I've been sick for weeks doesn't make this feel any better right now.
Yeah,
exactly. So I go, and I've never been sick like this. Like I get sick, I get the flu, I miss a couple of days, I'm back at work. Like I've never been sick for like what feels like a month now, like prolonged period. So I go to urgent care this time because I need to get seen like right away. I mean, I'm bad. I feel terrible. So I walk right into urgent care. Our urgent care, my wife enjoys when situations like this happen because they have a reputation for like over prescribing. They're kind of like the surround and drown doctors. You go see them like when you need instant relief. Like they're gonna make you feel better right then. So they were like, yeah, you probably just need more antibiotics because I brought my doctor's notes, like the notes that I had from the week before. They're like, yeah, you probably just needed more antibiotics. But they're like, just to rule it out, we're gonna take a chest X-ray just to rule out pneumonia. They took one picture, they threw it up on the board, and they're like, that's pneumonia. They're like, you've had pneumonia for weeks. Wow. They were like, it's a good thing we didn't give you the antibiotic because we'd had to give you more. So they switched the antibiotic. I got 2 shots, 5 days, steroids, like don't go to work. Was told like, absolutely not. You're not allowed to go to work. You're here now. Go home. So I tell my boss, he's pissed because this is, my boss never takes vacation, just like I rarely take vacation. He had vacation scheduled. He's going to Disney World with his family. It's like his first vacation in like 5 years. And the last day off that he's going to get between now and February 5th for sure. And he's like, and for those of you who don't pay attention to the news, a hurricane was barreling towards the Carolinas.
Right.
And it was forecast to spin over Atlanta at the time. And I was like, go to Disney World. He's like, you have pneumonia. I'm like, but you're never going to get this chance again. Go. I will handle it. If I need you, I'll call, but go. Like, just go. I'll figure it out. Because, I'm not dead. Like, I can talk. Like, I'm here, and, I'm not dying. So, yeah, I did that. The shots and everything made me feel great. I feel much better now. I worked through the entire weekend, and from, like, Thursday through Sunday, I was just doing, like, weather conference calls from home, emails to the mayor and the county manager, emails to the Red Cross, emails to the state, like, constantly working.
Jeez.
with pneumonia. Like that was my rest. My rest was that I didn't have to drive. But like I'm not complaining. I mean,
this is America.
Part of the job. Yeah.
Work till you die. Don't get sick. I'm going.
I thought you were gonna start singing some Donald Glover.
I was. That was my impression.
Oh.
Good impression.
Oh, that's right. You are Caucasian. I get it now.
Yes, thank you.
I get it.
And I have no rhythm.
Anyway, I returned to work today in person, and I feel better, but like I'm still not great. Like I'm still kind of coughing, and I was telling Jason earlier, it's hard for me to explain how I feel because I've never really felt this way. But like I guess like all of the chest is like inflamed, so when I breathe, when I talk, especially if I gasp, it triggers a cough, even if I don't feel like I'm coughing anything up. and it kind of feels like I just went running. You know, like that first gym class of the year, and you run for the first time, and everything is just like real sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You breathe in and
like
you
that,
cough a little bit.
I feel like that constantly, like around the clock. That's how I feel.
Well,
I wake up feeling that way.
Just imagine in 40 years or so, you could die from that. You could just have pneumonia forever and just never get rid of it. And you didn't go to the hospital for 2 weeks or whatever.
So my boss's wife is a pediatric surgeon. She's a doctor, and she's like very respectable, high doctor. But my boss is driving to Florida the day that I get all my meds and everything. He calls me. He's like, "So how is it?" And I start reading him everything that I got, and she's in the side, and I can hear her. She's like, "Jesus, he needs to be admitted." He's like, "Really?" My boss. He's like, "Really?" She's like, "Yes." She's like, "We would never give somebody that much antibiotics on his own. Like, he should go to the hospital." She's like, "Why are you letting him work?" So he was getting it on the other end too. I was trying to take the blow for him, but yeah, like I there was a point where I kind of felt like on Saturday, he's like, "Is everything okay? Are you okay? Do you need anything?" Like, he's definitely kind of feeling a little guilty.
Yeah.
He just kind of left me.
Gosh. The twisted story.
That's my real life stuff, you know. It doesn't compare to the toilet disaster that Lucas had, or my air conditioning issue, but it's just, that's it, man. And I feel bad because I've tried to make all my podcast appearances, you know, like we've had the Nintendo Direct, like I hear me coughing, I definitely hear my voice, you know, is not the same, and I feel bad because I'm like subjecting people to listening to this, but you know, I feel like if I don't keep going, like what are we gonna do? Just like the show just stops, like,
right? That's what we do.
I mean, I was convinced when Lucas was like, I checked the score. He's like, "There's 6 feet of water in my basement. Everything's going down. DEFCON 12. It's
I
terrible.
felt for you.
I hate my life." But I was like,
I felt for you, Lucas.
I was like,
thank you.
It has been fun podcasting. We're done, I guess. That's how it is.
If my computer did die, then it probably would have been.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that when we do decide that the show has run its course, we're able to leave on our you know, on our own accord and, you know, leave on our own terms. But then I was like, well, we had a good run. Now I just will record myself going, "I'm a good guy."
Before we put in our sump pump, which is like, it felt like maybe like a year ago now, like our basement has like a boulder that the foundation was built around.
Mm-hmm.
So when it rains really hard, like water comes through the dirt between the boulder and the foundation. And like Jason knows the story, but we had this terrible storm, man, where we literally took on feet of water.
Oh my God.
And I have never been so exhausted. I was up till like 4 a.m. shoveling mud, like in my crawl space, a hole as deep as me, a 5-foot hole, puddling, like bucketing water out for hours. I was in tears. I was so exhausted until we got it all fixed. Then we got it all fixed and everything's been good now. But boy, I felt for you when I was hearing that story. I was like, I know exactly how that feels.
Well, except for now I can't really complain because you sound like you had it way worse. What'd you do? Move the boulder or install another boulder? 2 boulders.
The boulder is the size. I'm getting my wife to bring me more rum, so hang on a second. She grabs my glass. We're live on the air, please. Thank you, dear.
She should just bring the rum to you.
The boulder is the size of a Volkswagen. Like
holy sh! How do
you can't move it? It's huge, and it's been that way for like 30 years. So it's like it's fine. It's structurally sound. It's just that like when it rains a lot, like it doesn't happen always, but when it rains a lot, really fast, like it does. So what we did is we put a sump pump in there. We installed a pump to pump the water out. So as the water comes in, it collects and it goes back out. And then I also dug a French drain from the driveway all the way down the side of the house to like all that water that washes down towards the house. I'm just carrying it off now. So now, actually, after I did the drain, like the sump pumps like that we paid like $2,000 to put in, it's only ever kicked on like twice. But I had a picture of it. The first, like I had a pipe. There was a water line in there, and it bowed a PVC pipe.
Holy
like
crap.
Completely like a bow and arrow. Like that much water pressure from the dirt had bowed it like it was about to snap. It was insane. The pictures are nuts. It's like a war zone.
Dang.
So yeah, I mean, and you know what I should have said is when it fills up to the level of the floor, then all the water comes into the basement. So I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
All of my water, my carpet, everything. Yeah. Yeah, we went through
Sucks.
And the
It
smell.
Sucks.
Yes, and the smell. Water, dude. My uncle told me, and he's a southern Atlanta boy, so don't take this too far. But my uncle told me when I bought my first house, he said every house needs a dry vac. You know, like that was a gift that he got me, and a shotgun. He was like, "That's it. Every house needs a dry vac and a shotgun." He's like, "You'll understand later in life." And that was the first time I ever used it, and it saved us.
Yes. Same. Same.
Like,
I had to drive back like crazy.
Yeah, I bet. I don't think I have one. Better get one.
You better get one. You got
You
a
better
lot of
get one.
carpet in that basement.
You don't think you need it until you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Through the
Right?
day that you didn't have it. Yeah.
Exactly. As for myself, I have a Cyclops dog. Well, I thought I was gonna have a Cyclops dog. We took Aiden to they had like this farm, northwest part of the city had this event and touch the tractors. You know, the kids go out and climb on, see all the tractor equipment, climb on it, that type of thing. And of course, I'm like, wait, we're going to a farm? They have apples. They've got donuts. Sign me up. So
Hell yeah, dude.
Got my donuts, and so we were gone like 2.5 hours. We get home. And unfortunately, you know, we left early enough in the morning where I didn't really pay attention. I paid attention to my dog, but it's not like I examined him. You know, he got the cone off. Everything's fine. Recovering. All of a sudden, I let him outside, and he comes back in, and all I see is like this flesh-colored lump, like on the top of his eyelid. I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, come here, Asher. And I look at it, and sure enough, he's just got this giant growth. It looked like exactly almost what he had before. I'm like, oh,
I was gonna say, didn't I just have this
removed? I just
removed?
paid a crap ton of money to have this out and tested. Now it's back again. I'm like, this is horrible. Jess calls the vet. It's Saturday. It's like 11:30. They can get us in at like 11:45. So I like put my food down. I don't eat lunch. I go take him to the vet. Had to wait to get in. So the whole time I'm thinking, it's the same thing coming back again. They're not gonna be able to get rid of it. His eyes got some terrible infection. We're just gonna have to cut out his eyeball. I have to pay for that. I don't have the money to pay for that. What are we going to do? Our dog's going to have one eye. This is terrible. This visit's going to come. I'm like, that's when I was like on Discord, like having my breakdown.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I know it's bad
terrible.
if you're sharing it on Discord. I'm like, oh, he must be freaking out.
So turns out like he's just been, I feel like he just gets, there must be something in the pollen or the plants at this time of year. He just has like a reaction to it because he just gets generally itchy. And I'm not sure if it's from the area from where the stitches are out or from the healing or just that part of his head has been making him scratch, but he must just went to town scratching his face and ripped up his eye. He actually ended up like damaging his cornea because they put these drops on it and it turns iridescent on the eye where there's damage, and like his entire pupil area was just a color. So he had scratched his eye. So I'm sure by hurting that probably made it itch more. So he had thinned a bunch of his hair out. So that's why it looks so bad, because you can see his skin underneath. So had to put the cone back on him, gave us a pain pill for him. Itching still hasn't really gotten that better. So now the worry is, okay, when his eye heals, if we take the cone off, is it just going to repeat? So I think we're going to try a steroid for like a 20-day steroid to see if that helps him. Otherwise, if that doesn't work, then we might have to look at getting him an allergy medication, which will probably cost like $80 a month that I don't really want to spend. But I got to do what I got to do. So luckily it's just something that's going to take time to heal. Thank God. Because it was like he could barely open his eye. It was watering. It was oozing. It was swollen. I was like, oh God, he's got like the G virus in his eyeball. What is going on? It's terrible.
What the hell is going on?
And I think I had a story a long time ago I never told, but I think it's funny enough that I wanted to share it. At the end of the night before I go to bed, Aiden only has a pacifier at night when he sleeps still. And when he put him to bed, he has one, and then we put 4 around him. So in the middle of the night, if he loses one, there's a chance he's got 4 others in the crib. The chances are he's going to hit it.
We did the same thing.
Yeah, so you don't have to wake up and do it yourself. It's great. So my job at the end of the night, I go in and put them back in his bed. And for a while, he used to like sleep soundly. Then there was a time period where I have to come in there like Ethan Hunt. I'm like Mission Impossible in there, crawling on my stomach, not to make a sound, because he would wake up. And it was like, oh God, it was so terrifying. And then I don't move, but I go in there with my iPhone light on, and I'm scanning the floor. And literally I'm going around to the front of the crib, and just as he's laying face down, sleeping with his head towards this part I'm crawling past. I'm crawling past the front of the crib. I grab the pacifier, and literally as I come up to put it in, all of a sudden his head just snaps up, and I hear him go like that breathing in sound when your kids wake up, and then he's like, and I'm like, oh god, and I like dropped to the phone, I like smothered my iPhone light, like oh god, and then I just like I remember I kind of like just threw it over the crib and like ran out of the room. But it scared the crap out of me. I think we had been watching like I feel like maybe we had, that's the same night that we started watching Castle Rock. So the creepy atmosphere, and then he like snaps awake, and I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? But it was a fun story, and makes me feel better about my dog and all that stuff. And work is busy, really busy, and we're gonna move in like January 1st now, and it's like I got so much to do. I got so many vendors to set up. I gotta get networking. I got so much to do. We're gonna have fiber at the new office, though. That's exciting.
You always need more fiber.
That's right. Screw Comcast. So there we go. Well, we've due to the nature of having a guest, everything runs a little bit longer. But I thought it'd be a fair moment, Donnie. I'm sure we're gonna talk about this Thursday, but it's Tuesday. It's Nintendo Switch Online Day. I mean, I think it's fair to say, and we've already seen this, a bunch of shit posting, a bunch of people generally upset, or there's both sides. There's people that have fair criticism. There's people that blindly defend Nintendo, and there's people that just feel like they hate everything. I don't know. I feel like I really think people, if they're like, I understand the cloud save thing, and I understand, people talking about the money, but I mean, honestly, it's like if people are really concerned, you got to have 7 other friends. I mean, you really do.
Well, there was a time in my gaming where I didn't.
That's true. I mean, that's true. But I mean, not everyone could be internet fun guys like me and Lucas and know cool people.
I felt bad. I did feel bad that I had to kick Devin out.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's plenty of other people.
They could totally do their own group.
We could have 15 Switch
but they don't want to. What is with that, by the way? Like, yeah, everybody wants to be in our group. They're like, just do your own group. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, why?
You're just, I mean, it'll cost you $4 for an entire year of this if you do that. I mean, so I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, because my background, and I've shared this. I haven't shared it on the show, but I've shared it on Discord. So if you're not hanging out with us, please fluxtaposed.com/Discord, or I don't have the Make Us Better one because I don't have the short link for that, but there will be one. The last online service I paid for was Xbox Gold and Xbox Live Gold, and that was on the 360 when there weren't. I mean, we didn't have cloud saves. We didn't have games with gold. You paid, what was it, $60 a year just to play games. So
pretty much.
I'm already conditioned for that. I mean, I've seen people some state how Nintendo was the last bastion of free online play, and okay, I mean. But
it sucked when it was free.
To me, I guess it's just not a big deal. Even if I was going solo at $20 a month, I feel like I just there's
year.
Enough. Thank you. Yeah, $20 a year. There's just it's like I'm going to Target and there's that crap in the checkout aisle, and I'm like, hey, I need that.
I need the earwax removal thing for $4.99.
That's what it feels like. It's just like this easy add-on that just I need a.
I do wish I had a brighter. I do wish I had a brighter flashlight on my keychain when I walk from the car to the porch every day. Yeah, I'm one of those haters, though. I guess you're putting me. I mean, if you're picking sides, if you're drawing a line and you're calling 2 sides, I'm on the other side. But I think I'm on the other side for a different reason. There's been a lot of folks that are upset with the service features. I'm not upset with the service features, really. I get what they are. I think they're worth the money.
I think we're just continuing to beta test for Nintendo.
I'm more upset with not the service features, but like the missed opportunity. Like I'm just more upset with like this is how Nintendo has decided to enter the arena, and I'm also, I got to say, I'm a little upset that so many of our friends, actually, I feel like just they sometimes they drink that Homerade, and like it seems like with Nintendo, maybe more than anything else. I don't know if that's just my echo chamber, But boy, they got people that just defend them to the death over everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, guys, it's okay to like cast a stone and still love them.
Right.
I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I have the service. I'm playing Super Mario 3 on my Switch right now. I'm
Right.
excited about it. It's cool. I get it. But my thing about it is the best thing that the service offers, like its number one fact, like the thing that everybody brings up when they get into these debates, the number one thing, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
That's not a good idea. That's not like the number one factor shouldn't be the amount of money that I'm giving up for it.
$5.
Yeah, like I shouldn't. That shouldn't be the best attribute. Is the money that I'm paying for it?
Yeah.
The best attribute should be the service that they're giving us, and it's not. And I think that's a missed opportunity.
They haven't said anything yet about like what the cutoff period is, like, because if you have to check in, what is it? Once there's an online check every 7 days to play
every
the
7
access
days.
And then if you don't have the service, your cloud saves shut off. So what if what if you stop paying? How long is that waiting period before
their online
Q&A?
That's not active. Their online Q&A says immediately. I don't believe that.
I don't know how you could do that.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I honestly, to be honest with you, I don't think Nintendo's capable. I don't think they are. Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that's the case. But the 7-day online check is ridiculous. I just bought our family membership for a year. Why does any of us have to check in between now and the end of the year? I've already paid for it. My online check-in date should be September 18th, 2019.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to check in this week? I can't get a refund. I've already bought it. It's been purchased.
Right.
That's just one of like the small examples, and that's the thing. The service is great. It's worth the money. It's like we all agree that it's cheap. So I'm not saying that it's not worth having. It's the fine print that just drags the whole thing down. It's like they're carrying an anchor, and it's like they should have come out. What an opportunity for them to come out and say, here's how freaking awesome, our online service is. Like, we're going to put voice chat back on the console. We're going to have, these NES games, but Super Nintendo and 64 are coming soon. Like, they could have done so many things, like, without even changing what is live right now. They could have just said some things that were coming, just make the whole thing better. And they didn't. They could say cloud saves for all games, but they won't. Because they're like, you're going to cheat a Pokemon. I'd rather people cheat a Pokemon than me not be able to back up my Pokemon.
Yeah, I
like
feel
you're
like
selling me the cloud save.
That doesn't exist with that whole thing.
Well, I'm
not even going to use the cloud save.
I thought it was interesting in that video when the Jim Sterling one that I shared, when he was saying that there was a lot of Splatoon 2 cheaters, which I didn't know about, or hackers.
Oh yeah, that's been rampant forever.
Mario Kart as well.
And he was like, and what have they done with that? Absolutely nothing. They can't do anything
still haven't
to stop
fixed that. So you might as well let people back up their cheating save. If you're not going to stop, at least provide protections for all. Like, when that came out, I actually tweeted at Nintendo World Report because I think they were the first people that, at least that I saw, that broke it. I think it was done, and I was like, I would rather have a game that's easier to cheat, or at least capable of being cheated, than not have cloud save at all. You're selling me the feature. And he's like, absolutely. I'm like, I really don't care if people cheat at Splatoon. Like, at the end of the day, I really don't care. Am I going to cheat at Splatoon? No. Do I feel like slighted in any way because I'm not on the top of the leaderboards? No.
I feel like with a game like that too, that does that matchmaking in the lobbies, I feel like there's some other way you could prevent somebody from scumming their rank, from a match, because people are already save scumming with. That used to be the huge thing in the original. I don't know how prevalent is in this one. If you roll for gear, didn't like it, you dashboard the game, and then you just keep doing it, and then you don't lose your snail. I mean, people are always going to find a way to exploit things anyway.
Other consoles do it.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing. Other consoles do it, so why should we expect any different from Nintendo? And honestly, I just feel like if you're defending them, if you're defending it, like, you just don't have a whole lot of ground to stand on. Like, you're defending it just to say, like, I'm a Nintendo fan, because there's really nothing there to defend. It's just like, it's just bad. It could be better. Even if it's not bad, it could be better. And like, we should expect better. We should ask for more.
It should be held to the standards that we hold the other.
Exactly.
Microsoft and Sony.
That's what I was saying. If PlayStation came out with some junk like this, people would be furious.
Oh,
People be so mad.
Cal is playing. He's playing baseball already.
Oh,
Can I
dude,
just say
you
one of
know,
the biggest
Jason.
selling points is that I can play ice hockey. I mean, that's one
Oh
of
yeah.
my. That's one of the
true.
biggest selling.
The one thing that I like about this, I'm not sure if you remember this, but I believe I said this on a Nintendo Shack. It's its own app. You remember I said when they released Virtual Console, I don't want it to be a part of the shop.
Yeah, we wanted to have one app, all self-contained, one app.
That's exactly what it is. You download the Nintendo Switch Online, you click into it, and here's all the games you can play.
Okay,
and you can play online, you can play with friends, you can but it's all contained in the separate app. You don't go into you got to go into the eShop to download the app, but once you download
you don't have every single NES game that you've downloaded on your
taking up your screen.
Exactly,
yeah,
and you don't have to go onto the eShop and wade through every Virtual Console game that they put into the eShop library either. It's separated. I like that. I love that.
Did they do save states inside those?
Yeah, you get save states. I don't see any button control configurations, which on Mario I don't like because you use the A and the X button.
Yeah, I don't remember. Are you getting? You're not getting those NES controllers, are you?
Oh God, no. That's another thing. Those are terrible.
Yeah,
and only work with some games. What?
Yeah, no. They only work with the NES, like the Nintendo Switch Online games. That's the only games
they don't work with anything else.
What? They don't work with any other game at all.
Because first people were upset because you had to have the online, you had to have the subscription to buy it, and that's why, because they're not compatible with anything else. And now if you go to the deals section of the website, that's what's there. Your membership gets you these NES controllers. That I guess there's a novelty there, but after playing with. Oh, you can't even see my NES Classics on top of the shelf. After playing that, I was like, I don't know.
Controller's the controller. I need a D-pad and 2 buttons.
And then the Bobby was like, the only people that want these are the people that are going to buy Nintendo Switch Online. Like, that's you're missing the point. The point is that Nintendo is holding back, like, distribution of these things for, like, some weird program. That's the point. And the point is, like,
at least people who want them might actually be able to get them. I guess that's the
exactly.
Because no one's
and then there's
them.
people, like they're like, well, you can't play any other games with just a D-pad and 2 buttons. It's like people will try. Like, why can't I use the controller that I bought?
NES controller
as a controller. Why is it limited at all? Like, that's the thing. That's a Nintendo thing that Nintendo does sometimes. It just kind of drives you nuts.
At least it still makes people like 8BitDo still relevant. Other companies, third parties that are making nice hardware. So I mean, there's still that's the thing, because I think if people could get, some people they could get that Nintendo first party. That's what they would want.
$60 for NES pads.
That's a joke.
Insane.
I spent less on that for my GameCube wiry mess. I'm gonna have sitting all up in here.
It's like, guys, buy Smash and keep using your Joy-Cons. Don't buy that. Don't buy that mess.
I bought it. This would be great.
And they're gonna do they'll do SNES ones too. Like they'll keep doing it, and it's just like they'll keep doing it as long as people keep buying it.
Do you think? What if they give you us the what was the top loader called? Was that was the code name for the top loader? The top loader, and you get the dog bone version of the NES controller.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're wireless. At least you got that going for it. Which is even weirder that, like, why does it need to dock onto the console at all at that point? Like, why is it a Joy-Con? That's weird.
Just to charge, because they don't have any other way to charge. They didn't,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's
and they're like super big, and they like hang off the end of the Switch.
It is. My question
kind of makes me a question. Oh, go ahead, Lucas.
Oh, I was just gonna say, my question is, are we not getting all the whole library or whatever, because they were like, well, we already did the NES Classic or the NES Mini and the SNES Mini or whatever. Does it seem weird?
The library in this like crushes the NES Classic.
Right. So I feel like it's weird that they didn't think
so bad.
They didn't think that they were going to do this. It almost feels like, you know what I mean? It was like they were saying, you know what, we're just going to release the physical edition and that's it. And then they were like, well, on second thought, let's release this digital platform where we'll have a library.
Oh, I definitely think
it's like they're doubling.
I think when they were deving the Switch, I think they had the intention of having a Wii U like virtual console. And then I think with the invent of Game Pass and PlayStation Now, I think Nintendo switched gears and they said, wait a minute, we have this IP, we should turn it into a service that we charge people for monthly or annually, and we'll just give them access to it versus, letting them buy it and owning it on the console for a long period of time. And the reason why I just don't think we have a great library of multiple consoles and everything is this is a super easy way for them to pad out their library.
Yeah.
They're just gonna go back to the Wii days where, oh man, there's nothing going on in February. What are we gonna do? And Super Mario World drops this week, and everybody gets excited. And
sadly, I am looking forward to that because I do remember already. I got that feeling thinking about it, going back to the Wii days when it was like, oh, this classic game's hitting the VC.
Exactly.
And
I can't say that I disagree with it. I get the idea of rolling it out over time because it gives you something to keep saying. I'm not opposed to that. What I am opposed to is call the service what it is and tell people that things are coming. Communicate. I had to pay them. I paid for this now. I just gave them $35.
Oh.
And I have no idea what special features are. I'm never going to use this app thing. I have no idea if SNES games or 64 games.
Hold on, guys. Let's move the podcast over to the smartphone app.
Yeah, exactly. It's just say it, because we all know it.
It's because they don't know.
Oh wait,
they
just
don't
like you
know.
said,
they know.
It
they
looks
know
exactly the same. Can you tell it's updated?
They do.
Because I can't tell it's updated.
No, they're going to put all of the virtual console games into this thing. They know.
Then they're afraid to commit. Then they want to keep it nebulous so that they can.
They don't want people constantly asking when.
But people are still asking. We're asking that right now.
We are, but they don't want to be held at every press conference, at every press, at the Game Awards. When is Super Nintendo, when 64? They'll keep getting asked this the moment that they say they're all coming. I'm I think we all know where this is going, right? 2 or 3 years from now, this Nintendo Switch Online service is going to have a really sweet library of 400 games that you rent monthly, annually, and it's going to be awesome. It's a great feature. I think we all get that. But the way they rolled it out, with the checks and everything, it's so Nintendo. And that has such a negative connotation about it. It's so Nintendo.
It just the whole process too, between the communication and then even today when they're like, it's available today, but not until
it's available at 11 p.m.
Yeah,
actually, it's available at 9.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
We're still uploading. We're waiting for it to come through.
I apparently, we'll touch on this briefly, but Mario Kart was trending today, and everything what people would say, I saw the tweet, and it's like, well, Mario Kart's trending today, but it's for the wrong reasons. And people are like, oh, why? And they're like, don't look into it. Don't look into it. I was like, I'm going to look into it. And it was hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
It's great for Toad.
It's great for Toad. So
it's great PR for Toad.
Without going into too much detail, Stormy Daniels made it.
Go into a lot of detail.
Got a tell-all book. It's coming out, and she made references to Trump's penis. Actually, no, we'll just say it. With his Yeti pubes, and that it looks like Toad.
Can we take a minute to appreciate just how far the office of the presidency has come? I mean,
I don't think it comes very far at all if it looks like a toad.
I hear he prefers urine over coming.
Oh. just took it right to the top.
Yep.
I didn't get that either. And when I had commented, I said, well, it's probably trending because all the old people are like, what's a Mario Kart? But I meant all these old people who are, make America great again, saying, don't make fun of my president's penis.
MAGA.
Also,
MAGA.
What's Mario Kart?
Yeah.
So
it's an important moment for Mario Kart thrown out there in the public chamber, where because the funny thing is, I didn't see any articles today, even from non-gaming stuff, like The Guardian and whatnot, that were like, what's Toad? Everybody just knows, everybody knows. I was wow, Mario Kart has really taken on in the public, in pop culture. People know Mario Kart.
We've reached that echelon.
Yeah, that's a benchmark. Nobody's like, what is the Toad? What are they talking about?
It's true. It's true. What a time to be alive.
It is a time to be alive. And I after talking about Trump's penis, I can't think of a better time to listen to some music. What about you guys? I'm just in the mood for it now.
Cleanse the palate.
Dance, guys.
It's just dance.
As always, we like to feature an overclocked remix at this time on the show. Usually, we pick one at random, but because Donnie was on the show, look, there's Super Mario Brothers. because Donnie was on the show. I thought, I was out walking the dog, listening to OC Remix, because that's apparently what I do. And a cool song came on, and I was like, oh, it's from Kirby. Donnie kind of likes Kirby. All right, perfect. We're gonna play that song when Donnie's on, and it's from Kirby's Dreamland. It's called Cabbage Salad. I actually don't have it pulled up in OC Remix, so I need to do that so I can tell you a little more about it. Let's see. Typing.
Kirby.
Typing.
Did you play Kirby Allies or whatever?
Yep.
Star Allies.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
I haven't.
I played the demo.
Played it and beat it. I played it enough to beat it.
Wow.
I don't like the ally part of it, to be honest with you. Like, it's like this weird thing where you start collecting like a trail of folks, and you kind of get lost. It like you forget, like you just start pushing buttons, and like Kirby start doing animations. Like you have no idea exactly who you are at times. It gets pretty frantic. But
that sounds like another game I've been playing, but I'll wait until what you're playing for that.
It's really pretty though.
Yes.
Do you need me to kill time for you to download, or you already got it up?
It's ready.
Oh, it's done.
I'm ready.
So our remixer is Yama Yama, and it's Kirby's Dreamland. Cabbage Salad comes from Kirby's Dreamland, of course. Released in 1992 on the Game Boy. It's 2 songs: Castle Lo Lo Lo, Lo 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 Lo,
Lo, Lo, Lo.
And Green Greens. It's jazz, it's ska.
It's everything.
It's a good time. Yeah. So we're gonna play the remix. Check out ocremix.org for many more remixes. We'll come back. We're gonna talk about what you're playing. Maybe Dan Anthony has some community grab bag fun for us, and then we'll let you go play Switch Online like all the cool kids. So stick around. Let's do it. Let's do it live. Booyakasha. See, it's like fun. It's like festive. I like the little ska in there, you know. Donnie, I will play Tecmo Bowl with you soon. I have to pretend to do the show first. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I wanted to see what the online, like, how it worked.
So as you can all expect, as soon as we go to the song, we're like, oh, grab the Switch.
Well, I'm like, I better download this damn update or else I'm never going to get to play anything.
Right? I like the interface. It looks cool.
It is nice. It's a nice OS. It's a nice update.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm going to go first here because this directly goes into Switch Online. Last week, Luke, I forgot. Let's talk what you playing, Lucas.
Hold on.
Let's talk what you playing. I had a crummy, Saturday. That was stunk with the dog. Aiden was a little bit of a monster, and so the wife was like, "You're probably gonna want to go downstairs Saturday." And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna watch a movie." I was like, "Okay." And I wanted to stream something, but I'm not like too caught up in any Switch games right now. I play Octopath here and there, but I was like, you know what? I've had my NES Classic. I haven't even taken it out of the box. So I finally took the NES Classic out of the box, hooked it up. I was like, I want to play Punch-Out. And man, fun. But I sat there. I don't think you guys were around there. I sat there and I didn't make it to Mr. Dream, but then I just put in the passcode. I sat there and I tried to beat Mr. Dream for probably about 45 minutes.
Oh my god!
I can't do it. And I used to be, I used to be able to. I don't think I can anymore. I just don't think I have. This is the first time in a game where I've noticed like a drop in my reaction time. Like I just don't think I can physically process the tells and react fast enough to dodge his attacks. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to it, but here's the thing I learned, because on Sunday I brought out the Super NES, so I played the SNES and the NES Classic that weekend. I'm kind of, in terms of an enjoyment, I'm really disappointed in both of these. I find like the library on the NES just to be okay. There's not, and I know this is old news because people have had these for quite a while now, but I find the NES just kind of be all right. There's some cool stuff there, but not a whole lot. I know, and
I'm with you, man.
But compared to the Super NES, the NES blows that out of the water. I think the Super NES library is terrible. I tried to play Super Ghouls and Ghosts. That game is unplayable. It is unplayable. You get like 3 sprites on the screen at once, and the frame rate is non-existent. I don't know how you're supposed to play that game. Just plus the jumping animation and everything, not fun whatsoever. I think I thought I was like, okay, I'll try to play a couple other games, but they don't really gravitate well to streaming. And I ended up settling on Mega Man X, and that was fun. I had a lot of fun with Mega Man X. And I ended up beating out that night when I was still streaming on the NES. I ended up beating Mega Man 2 because it's Mega Man 2. Why not?
Hell yeah, dude!
It's a great game, but it's just like
good music.
I couldn't get over like how bad, and I know that's a thing with those games when they can't have the memory of the sprites, but it was just like it was terrible. So I guess that's why I'm looking forward to Switch Online, because I feel like that's going to have a much more expansive library, and I know I could hack these classics and put whatever I want on it, but I do kind of want to just leave them as the vanilla, the pure experience.
You can back up your kernel.
Okay, yeah. Well, here's the thing, Donnie. I had more fun sitting at the title screen listening to that chiptune music than I did playing half of those games, because that's just fun. The music that plays on the menu, it's fun. I'm sitting there dancing to it. I like it. Everything else wasn't that fun. It just wasn't that fun.
Yeah, I have a hard time following you on that, because I think the NES Classic, I've long said I don't understand like what it is that people were so gaga for. I think the SNES.
I think I got
like better in every way. I think the controllers are better, the games are better. Like Link to the Past versus Zelda, Mario, Super Mario. Like Super Mario 3 is amazing, but like the other ones aren't.
I want to play through Super Mario World because I got pretty far on 3DS, but I haven't picked it up. So that was most of my gaming. We finished Castle Rock Season 1 right after the day after we recorded last week. Mixed feelings on the ending, but all in all, it was a really cool series. I started, much to Lucas's suggestions, I started BoJack Horseman.
Yes.
A couple. Nice. I think I've watched 3 episodes now. What was the third one where like the one daughter like goes on is like a train wreck of drugs and sex and
yes.
Yeah.
From the show, you mean? Her, gosh, I can't remember her name.
I don't either. Will Arnett's hilarious.
He's great.
So I'm enjoying that. I've heard good things about what they just came out with, season 5. I think I've heard a lot of good things about that. So
yeah,
I'll keep working my through it.
I've been watching some episodes there, but I'm not through it.
Yeah, and the way it sounds like with this stuff coming up, there's probably a good chance we're going to keep Hulu, especially since you can get it like for the first year for like $6 a month. So we'll probably keep that, and which means I will be watching Rick and Morty. I'll be watching Adventure Time legally. So looking forward to all that. And then last week we had a chance where we're like, okay, we've been watching a lot of series. Kind of want to watch a movie. Let's go in a different direction. I tried randomly. I tried to push on her to watch Hostiles because like it might because at that time I didn't know if it was gonna win Netflixation, so I was gonna watch it at some point anyway. Unfortunately, this happens in the first scene. So well, actually I don't want to give away, but something happened in the first scene that she was just like, nope, not in the mood for this. So didn't watch that. So then there's this Jake Gyllenhaal movie on there called oh gosh, I don't even know what the name of it is, but the whole premise is if he like sees, I think like essentially like his doppelganger. But the first scene on that, it was like it looked like it was basically like he walked into the sex scene from Requiem for a Dream, the weird double dildos. It's like this weird thing, and then she's like, I'm like, well, we're done with that one too, because when weird stuff like that happens, it's an awkward thing to watch something like that with my wife, and I know she's not going to really care for that. So we're like, nope. So then I struck out. I'm like, okay, you pick something. Everything I pick it's not flying tonight. And so I think it's a Spanish film. It's called The Invisible Guardian, which is interesting because the main character spent some time in America, like worked with the FBI. Now she moved back home, and her boyfriend's American. So at some point they talk to each other in English, which is weird when you're watching a movie that's subtitled and then all of a sudden there's no subtitles and they're just speaking English for a few scenes. Kind of really breaks it up. But the quick premise is there's a string of murders happening where and it's young girls and the bodies have been displayed to be found. And so she's investigating that. It ends up back in her hometown, and there's some twists and turns. There's some supernatural stuff along the way. It was actually quite good. I think my wife's going to read the book on it. And I did forget to add, Lucas, I read that first graphic novel I got from the library. It's called like the Green River Killer. And Donnie, maybe you might be familiar with that. I'm not. I had never heard of it. It's not historical quite, but it's written by. It follows the story of this one detective that was on the case. It's written by his son. So it kind of gives you the loose story of this whole, like, it was a 30-year journey before they investigating these murders, and they caught this guy, but he killed like 48 women in the Seattle area back in from like the 1970 up and through. I think it was from like 1970 up through like 1990s. I think he was active, but he's like the most prolific, like in terms of murders, like one of the most notorious, biggest serial killers in U.S. history. And I had never heard of it before.
Nah, me either.
Yeah, that's new to me.
So really interesting. Like, it was cool to read it in that type of, that type of genre, the type of format within the comic panel style. And I guess this whole story was there's a lot of controversy because he took a plea deal because they only had the evidence to convict him on 3 murders. So part of the plea deal, he would help provide additional evidence and confess to the other 45, and for exchange of not getting a death sentence, for getting a life sentence in prison. So I think a lot of people were upset that that was the case. But really interesting story. It was pretty cool, and I read it in literally like it was like 100 and something pages, but I read it in like an hour and a half. It's a pretty quick read, but it was a cool like little self-contained story. I like it when certain graphic novels do that instead of getting like your combined volumes of a long run. It's cool when you get I mean, those are, I guess you'd say those are more likely trades, but I mean, it's cool to have a self-contained story in a comic form that you can just dig into. So that's what I got.
I agree. Who do you want to go next? You get to pick.
Well, I mean, I might have Donnie's attention for a little bit before he jumps back into Nintendo land. So we better rope him in here.
I put it down. I wanted to mess around with it, and I put it away. It's pretty nice. I like the GUI. So Once they start adding on to it, it'll
gooey.
be pretty sweet. In terms of what I've been playing Spider-Man. Finally jumped on that boat after I beat Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
What do you think about Spider-Man? Is that going to be a Game of the Year contender? I hear
for sure.
Everyone I've heard play it just seems to like rave about it. So
for sure, I'm struggling right now whether or not I would consider it like my Game of the Year. Because Far Cry and God of War are really, really good games. They're both high up there for me. This one does like. First, let me preface. I haven't played it enough to really like give a review. I've only finished the first act. If the story gets a lot better, and like this all subject to change. What I've done so far is a lot of collectathons, a lot of jumping through hoops.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of it's kind of repetitive, but it's fun repetitive. Like that's the thing. It's the good kind of repetitive because they nail the swinging part of being Spider-Man so well. Like flying through the city is so good. You don't mind jumping through hoops and catching pigeons and like doing little dumb menial tasks because it's fun to do. It's just kind of like time waster.
Yeah.
There's like some, I don't know if I call them faults, but there's some things that like puzzle me about the game. So like the game takes place with a Spider-Man that's a little older than we're used to. Like he's been Spider-Man for quite some time. Like most people know he's like MJ knows he's Spider-Man and all that. So like he's been around. But you start the game off like I felt so incredibly weak when I first started the game.
Yeah,
which I get. Yeah, because it's like they want you to build up. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, well, isn't that weird? Because it's not an origin story. So, like, what did he do before this? Did he just get beat up a lot? Because that's kind of what's happening.
He started doing P90X and got swole.
Exactly.
Nice.
So there's like that. There's just like some of like the missions. Like a lot of the missions are repetitive. Like there's this really cool car chases that you do, but like all the animations are basically the same. So after you've done it like once or twice, like. It very much feels like a first series game. It's like here's the basics of the game that we were trying to build, and it's awesome. Like they've done a great job. It's one of those games where I would say like I can't wait for the sequel. Like I can't wait for them.
I feel like I played the last good Spider-Man, which was on PlayStation in 2000. Like that was a great game. That Spider-Man, that was really fun. So I'm glad to see that it's kind of prominent again.
Oh yeah,
return.
It's really good
because like just the fact like there's a game, an MMO Lucas and I played called Champions Online, and you can make your own hero through the basic archetypes. And one of them you weren't a web slinger, but you had a grappling hook and you had the swing mechanic. Yeah. And even in that game, it was just fun to just swing around. It just felt really cool to just swing around the map and do all that. So I can only imagine with what I've seen of Spider-Man doing it in that game, it looks a lot cooler.
The motion, I actually heard Colin Moriarty say this best, at least the best analogy that I've seen. But having played it, I really understand what he was trying to say. The game is really good at giving you momentum and letting you use that as you traverse. The flip side of that is when you're trying to do something very precise, it's not nearly as good. Like, and Colin Moriarty said it kind of reminds Sonic. Like in a Sonic game, when you're running, the game is working, like everything is good, like everything's working. It's when you stop going fast that the game feels weird, because it's like you're trying to jump onto platforms or you're trying to get to like a specific bar to perch on or something like that. And like the camera does like some wonky things in those situations. Or like you're trying to swing to a specific part, but like you swing and it launches you forward because it's expecting you. The game is built to like launch you and get you moving. So like everything is kind of geared around you generating momentum. They're not necessarily cons. These are just like areas of improvement. The game is really good.
Yeah.
Judging on how the story goes, I definitely think it's a Game of the Year contender. Yeah. I've been playing it nonstop for like 2 days.
So. I'm interested with like, listening to PSVG. Nathan and Kevin both have a heavier comic background, obviously. So I'm interested to see how that compares with them having much more familiarity and experience with Spider-Man and his story and his journey.
You go around and like you take pictures of landmarks. And when you take a picture of it, like it'll pop into your menu. You can go like click on it and it'll give you like a 2-second thing about what it means to Spider-Man, or like, like he'll get a backpack and it'll be like a movie ticket that he saw with Iron Man or something like that. I imagine that they are like fawning over that stuff, whereas I'm just kind of like, oh, that's cool. So like you go take a picture of like Doctor Strange's, laboratory or whatever he has, and I'm like, all right. I keep swinging along where I'm sure that means more to them because of their fandom for sure.
But at least it's
and then
there.
yeah, and then like I said, it definitely feels like if like the next version of this game, and they get to fully realize all the things they want, and maybe they get to add a bit to the mission variety. Maybe they get to add, it's like it's like one of those like open world games. Like, I mean, it's very Infamous. Like Infamous kind of there's a reason why I like Infamous, but also the reason why I've never like really considered it like best game is because it kind of suffers like that Saints Row kind of feel. Like it's an open world, but you just kind of keep doing the same things, and like that's different from like what I would consider like a Far Cry, a GTA open world, where like the world feels like it's things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's not like that open world. It's kind of like just a playground where you do missions versus an open world game, where I would like to see, just kind of take that next evolution. I think it would be incredible. I mean, it's an amazing get that the fact that Sony has this in their holiday window and they get to promote it because they can just kind of use this game. They can just kind of sit on this for a while. And I think it's going to, there's a lot there too. Like I said, I've probably put 8 or 10 hours into it, and I think I'm only 30% in. Like there's a lot of game here. It's good 20, 30 hours more if you want to collect everything and do all the things. The combat's very Arkham-ish, so it's a very counter-based, and you unlock skill trees and whatnot. It really just feels like Arkham. It kind of feels like an Arkham game, more or less. I wish I had a day and night cycle. That'd be like one of the cons. There is none.
Yeah.
And it's weird only in the sense that like you'll go take a mission and the mission is meant to be done at night. So when you go and talk to the person, you get like a load screen where everything changes to night.
Oh,
and then you do the mission, and then you get a load screen, and it comes back to day. You're like, what the hell just happened? It's weird. It just kind of feels, like games used to feel. It kind of feels like last gen.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. That makes it kind of take you out of the generation a little bit.
Yeah, and just like things like that. Like I think it's a very pretty game for like an open world game, but it's not like a looker. It's not like, I don't think it's visually impressive. I've definitely seen games look better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just comparing it to like my X thing. That's different hardware. That's not a fair comparison. But like God of War is a much better looking game than Spider-Man. There are a lot of buildings with like flat textures and stuff like that. Like, like if I'm being critical.
Right. To make up for the size and scope.
Of course. Exactly. It's rendering, like I said, it's pretty for an open world game.
But
yeah, it's not the best game I've ever seen. It's not like Forza pretty. But Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider on X, that might be the prettiest game I've ever seen. In all seriousness, the lighting and everything through the jungles, that game makes me feel like Rambo. If you've ever wanted to play Rambo, like that game does it. Really good stealth mechanics. They do the stealth where you get to like cover yourself in mud and like hide along. Not only do you get to hide in like bushes, but also like behind boxes and stuff.
Predator style.
You get to hide along like walls that are covered in vines and in like foliage.
That's
so
cool.
You can just kind of like go up there, and she pulls out her knife, and you wait for like a dude to walk by, and you just take him out. The story is not nearly as good. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is like technically proficient, technically excellent, creatively boring, like meh. Just kind of
okay.
You do a lot of the same thing. Like you climb, like their new thing with their climbing is that now you can climb like overhead stuff, so you can like climb upside down. But like the areas you get to do that maybe 4 or 5 times. The 4 or 5 times you get to do it, I swear to you, feel like you're climbing the exact same wall. Like they have gaps in the exact same places. Like you just hop, and, it's just like that. It's kind of boring. And then the story is kind of like this apocalypto. Yeah, like just kind of like this apocalypto meets Uncharted meets Indiana Jones type thing. And not nearly as good though. None of the characters, I think, get the support that they deserve. Like you don't really get invested. They really shotgun you into the thing. And, like, so she's very dramatic for like just angst, like just to insert drama.
Mm-hmm.
Like none of the characters get any build. So you really don't care. At least I didn't really care at the end. outside of just the visual spectacle and then the fun of being stealth and taking out. The missions are good, and that's kind of what it feels like, a collection of missions. Okay. Technically a marvel, like technically amazing, like the stealth, the gunplay, the mechanics, the jumping, all good. The visuals, breathtaking, best in class. Is it a game of the year contender? I don't think so. Just because creatively, like, it just doesn't do much, just kind of like the ending doesn't do much. It doesn't really do much for the Tomb Raider arc, like I just didn't feel it.
That's how I felt about the second game too, especially after playing the first one so quickly or so soon before that one, where she has this like real character arc in the first game, and then the second one is just kind of like, okay, that's who I am now for the entire game.
And I mean, I think it feels dumb to say this, but like because the title of the game is called Tomb Raider, but like that's all you do is like raid tombs. Like you're in the cave a lot, and it's weird because it's not like an open world like Uncharted had like not an open world but like these open areas. They were much bigger than Tomb Raider. Like this game like takes you to a town, and you can kind of walk around the town and get submissions and things, and that's cool. You can collect some stuff under the water. The swimming mechanic and going underwater is actually really fun. It's one of the fun things I enjoyed about the game. There's piranhas and eels and things that you got to hide away from. But like it's small. Like after I did like the first town, collected everything, and I got to the second town, it was like more of the same thing. I was like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Well, it's always weird that the tombs are kind of secondary to the main story, so you have to do them, or at least I felt like that's how it was in the first two games. It was always, hey, go do this tomb that's in this hub world, and then continue on and do the story missions. And I've always felt like they should be part of the story, or at least you stumble through them while going on your way to the next waypoint, instead of just being, well, you can do them if you want. You can go through Tomb Raider and never raid one tomb. If you really
like everybody. The funny part is Dev made a fuss about me beating it so fast. I beat it in basically 2 days.
Dang.
I think I got through the main story in 10 to 12 hours. And I wasn't rushing it at all. Like I said, I stopped doing a lot of the side missions after like the second town. So I didn't like complete it and go through all that. But like I wasn't rushing. I had pneumonia and I was sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
Perfect time to.
You didn't feel like you had to get it done quickly.
I turned on the game and that's what I did. I just sat there and just kept doing it. So it was really good. And then over there on Switch, I've been playing Pokemon Quest. I'm on my final statue. I think I'm actually going to beat this one. And then I play a little Fortnite actually with my son. My son he's totally into Fortnite, by the way. So I'm trying to help him and get started.
No. He's Kevin.
Did you see the tweets that I sent to Johnny Casino? All right. So my son is like telling me that his friends, he's like, man, they kicked me out of the group. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, on Fortnite, my friends kicked me out of the group. I was like, you friended like your friends? He was like, yeah. I was like, your friends? I'm thinking from like school.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, my friends, they kicked me out of the group. And I'm thinking like, oh man, now I've got like some cyber bullying thing I've got to go.
Oh no.
Right.
So he brings it to me and he's like, how do I find them again? He's like, I think they kicked me out. And I was like, well, what's their friends' names? You write it down? And he's like, no, but I remember it. And I was like, what is it? He goes, it's Johnny Casino. I was like, those aren't your friends. Those are my friends. What are you talking about? Like, you really thinking I've got to go beat up, 6-year-olds?
Well, I just talked to him last night. He's a jerk. So I imagine that's
he
what
was
happened.
calling me all sorts of names.
So I texted him, or I tweeted at him. I'm like, hey, Johnny Casino, my son is like super pissed you kicked him out of your group. And he's like, we had to leave. We didn't kick him out. We just left. So I'm just like completely misinformed. He's like, I thought that was you. I was like, really? I don't Fortnite.
You're like, I'm not that good at Fortnite.
Exactly. I was like, really? You thought it was me? Like my son's, doing that good of a job. So anyway, my son is now every time he plays, he wants to squad up with Johnny Casino. Apparently he had a lot of fun. I think Johnny said that like his son was playing. So my son was talking to his son and they were in a group and like, that's all he wants. He brings the Switch to me. He's like, can you check if Johnny's on? So
oh my gosh. That's cool. See,
so I've been trying to get into Fortnite and figure it out,
Not really Nintendo specifically, but in this case, I'm saying it's the power of Nintendo because that's what I'm going to do. So
hey, it is. I think it's the best shooter on. I mean, it's fun. I like it. It's fun.
That's like calling Breath of the Wild the best Zelda on the Switch. I mean,
There can only be one because there only is one. Well,
and, that's it for me. I did want to say, since I got Lucas's attention, I did watch The Purge, the TV series.
TV
I saw that
you
had said
those?
you watched it. No, I have the movies to receive or to come to me, and I can watch them. I've only seen one, the first one, I believe.
Okay.
I was very disappointed because I'm like, well, the idea is okay, but the movie wasn't really. I felt like it didn't take advantage of that. The one where they're in the house and the guy is selling security systems or whatever.
Like with
Ethan
all
Hawke.
horror movies that get any type of success, all they do is they just kind of ramp up everything. Like with every installment, everything just gets bigger and bigger explosions.
More
and bigger
everything,
death scenes,
okay.
And just more everything.
Don't make it good. Just make more of everything.
Exactly. I mean, more people dying, but they do
More
go
masks.
outside. They go outside, which is more fun. For whatever reason, my wife is always kind of intrigued, invested. She likes the idea. The premise is one that she gets behind.
How do you make a TV series about something that only happens once a year?
Yeah, so that's the thing. We jumped on Sling this year for football, and because of this Purge TV event. So it's 10 episodes.
Okay.
It stars Lily Simmons, who I'm a huge fan of, because she's just gorgeous. I just like that's it.
Not for her.
I don't really
ability
care
to
about her
act.
acting skills. She's just gorgeous. I
Girl
tease my
is
wife about her
pretty.
so much.
What's her name?
Lily Simmons.
I gotta find out what she's been in and also judge her.
She's been in True Detective. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
Wow.
What was it? Banshee. We watched with her. So
Yeah, she is pretty.
but it's like this. Yeah, it's an interesting premise, but they kind of take a bunch of, you're following 2 or 3 different characters. They've only had 2 episodes out, but so far it's actually kind of holding true to the movie, and I'm kind of enjoying it. She has like this, we still don't know, but she has this relationship with these 2 other characters that are good, and then there's like this very snobby political party that are like kind of over everything, and there's like this semi cultish religious part that's going on, and then there's like this very virtuous brother who's trying to find a sister and save him, and all these kind of stories are interweaving amongst each other over the night of the Purge. That's kind of the story, and I'm enjoying it. The environment, the masks, the visual effect of the Purge environment is all there, so they're doing a good job. It's worth watching.
Interesting. You said it's on what did you, Slingbox or something?
It's on what channel is it? USA?
TNT,
something.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Fox FX, or their new one, Fox FX
There
or
it is.
whatever it is.
Yeah, so we went with.
Is it really on
this
FX?
year. I think so.
Oh my god!
I looked it up.
Joking.
And FX popped up. No, it's USA. It's
USA. Yeah.
There you go.
USA. Maybe I'll check it out if it ever pops up somewhere besides USA.
I wonder if it's on Hulu. I think USA stuff's on Hulu.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Hulu has the worst. I hate Hulu compared to Netflix's ability to categorize and search and everything. The way that they display their content is not great. Better than Prime, though. Amazon Prime is just god awful. But anyways, shall I go now?
Yep, do it.
All right. I watched Kong Skull Island. It was pretty good. It's kind of like it's kind of like a guilty pleasure because visually speaking, it was really good actually. Very visually, almost reminded me of a comic book or a graphic novel. Very colorful. Very like there's parts where King Kong will stand up in front of the sun, or as it sets behind him, or he'll rise up from billowing clouds of smoke and fire, and it looks really cool. But there's also parts where like it looks cool because some character is standing in front of him, staring at the awe and splendor that is King Kong, and you're just like, why aren't you running for cover? Like, it looks like a cool shot, but why are you just standing there waiting to die? What the hell's wrong with you? So, it's kind of got that action movie thing going on. But as a blockbuster goes, it was pretty good. I was quite surprised. My one negative that I definitely noticed and got tired of was the soundtrack. They really played up the, here's a 70s song that isn't Fortunate Son that you know, but there was still CCR was on there and some other stuff that you would recognize that puts you right into the 70s era. But it kind of, that's okay when you see helicopters taking off or whatever, but it kind of did the let's cut to see what the army people are doing and play a 70s rock song a little bit too much. So I've been continuing my journey into comic book land. I read Old Man Logan. Well, let's see. I read Old Man Logan. There was that whole snafu about realizing that there's a new Old Man Logan and then the original Old Man Logan. And so what I meant to do was read the Old Man Logan that happens before the Secret Wars event in Marvel, which reset the entire multiverse and universe or whatever. This was the story that was kind of loosely, not based off from, but inspired the movie Logan.
Okay.
Or it was called Logan, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So I wanted to read that for a long time, and now I finally had the ability through just seeing what they had at the library. Basically, trying a little bit to see if I could get it for free. I don't know why I waited so long. It's not like it just came out or anything, but I was like, I wonder if the library has it. So they did, and I read it, and it was a great story. I would definitely recommend anyone read it. I jumped in, I didn't know anything before or after really of this story, but as a like, I think 6 issue story. Very cool. I liked it a lot. And I think because I just jumped into it, I was interested to see why things were the way that they were in the world. Because the premise is basically that something happens that causes Wolverine to go missing for 50 years and basically never use his claws again, right? So why did that happen? Where is he now? Why is this place the way that it is? I don't want to say anything more than that because if you check it out, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's just say multiple Hulks, for instance, and not just Bruce Banner, but, other Hulks too. So that's an example, which led me to go back and say, well, wait a minute. This is part of the Secret Wars, or at least Old Man Logan continues on after the Secret Wars and during. And I was collecting those issues because it all started with Free Comic Book Day when they gave out the issue 0 of Secret Wars. And I read that and I was like, this is kind of cool. And so I was getting them until I skipped one. I wasn't subscribed to it. I was just picking them up when I went in to pick up Star Wars issues that I was subscribed to and getting pulled. So I was just like, well, I can just pick them up when I go in there. Well, I stopped doing that. And so I don't have the full... I think I only have like 4 issues or 5.
You don't have the complete set.
Right. And so I was like, well, I never finished reading this, but it was interesting. So I read Secret Wars. Again, I have no clue what the hell was going on, but it was interesting. I had to read some of the Wikipedia stuff to figure out. Because all of this is a problem with comic books, and I talked about this a little bit on Discord, but you can't just jump in because you don't know what the hell's going on. Unless the story starts from anew, there's always something that happened that gets referenced and you're just like, what? I don't understand why this is important. And so I was looking at what led up to this, and there's a whole bunch of different comics that lead up to what happens in Secret Wars. So whether or not I'm going to go down that rabbit hole is a whole nother story. But I read Secret Wars. That was also pretty good. And then I continued into Old Man Logan, which was made after the one I just talked about and happens during the Secret Wars as well as after Secret Wars. And so this is interesting because everything that happens in the first one, Old Man Logan, this one's called War Zones. I'll just call it War Zones to clarify. Okay. In War Zones, he basically time travels and has an opportunity to change things. So now that's kind of where the story is at.
Okay, that's the one I think I read. I think I might have read Time Zones. Is that the one where he like
War Zones?
Where he like ends up in like a... You read all of it?
I'm almost all the way through. I've got like one more
Is that
issue
the one
to
where
go.
he like ends up like where he gets sent to like where he should die? Like there's all these demons, or I can't remember.
Yes, yes. That
Okay.
well, no, that's yes. Sorry. War Zones is I've finished War Zones and I was reading the next one, the next volume. Yes,
Yeah. So
so
that's
he
what I've
gets
read.
sent
Is
to
that
Battle World is what you're
that's what
thinking
it?
of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He goes all over Battle World.
Yeah. That's the one I
So
read.
many weird things happen in there. Yeah, you
Because
were probably like, "What
She-Hulk's
the?"
there.
Yep,
Yeah.
and you're like, "What the hell's going
Yeah.
on? Why are there
Yep.
zombies? Why is Venom a
Yes.
zombie? I don't understand."
Yes.
Yeah, so if you can figure out, here's what I did. I went online, I checked out how to read this basically, and went from there. Because once I realized I had done the snafu and didn't start where I wanted to,
Okay.
I was like, how do I approach this? Sad that you have to do that, but I did, and it helped immensely. So I would recommend anybody wanting to jump in, do what I did, and get in the know. I beat Spectre of Torment. That was fun. I liked the game. It was good.
Yes.
The storytelling is definitely better.
Telling you.
The being Plague Knight and his what was it called? I can't remember what it's called.
Plague of Shadows.
Plague of Shadows, yes. It charmed me, but then after playing Spectre of Torment, I think I would have got frustrated and quit with Plague of Shadows. So I'm glad I tackled it first and then went on, because Spectre of Torment was not nearly as annoying as Plague of Shadows was. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to what's the next one coming out? Where you play as King Knight?
King of Cards.
King of
Cards.
They just do good stuff. It's charming. They put a lot of work into it, even though they kind of are reusing locations. They made it different, at least for Spectre of Torment, and changed the way that your movement works and everything so that it feels different. You know what I mean? And I can respect that. Even the tunes, the music is changed a little bit for each subsequent DLC. So yeah, I think they do good work. What is that? Yacht Club Games or whatever?
Club. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good stuff.
I told you the storytelling really, that's what kind of, in my mind, that's what makes that superior to me.
There's
like the story that's told and
how
they display it, how you interact through it.
It still reminds me of Darth Vader, like just the idea that it's kind of tragic. He has a tragic story, I guess, and that's kind of how I felt about Darth Vader and finding out what happened to him. Same here, not quite as on as deep a level, but I appreciated the fact that they told a story here, whereas with Plague of Shadows, it's kind of a thing to play through, I guess. So yeah, I liked it a lot. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, though.
I gave you credit for
I need Donnie here.
going at it.
Well, and you've played some too, so you can speak to it a little bit. This game is the most frustratingly, well, saying that you played a chapter means you played like 10 hours of it. Well, not really, but at least like 4.
5 hours of cutscenes, 2 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I'm also frustrated at it for some of the stupid crap it pulls. It's very bewildering where it gives you control. Like, we'll go off that for now. It gives you control after a cutscene that just lasted probably like 3 to 5 minutes. You walk 10 paces and then you watch another 5-minute cutscene. Like, why did you give me control at all then? Why didn't you just go to the next cutscene? Why would you do that? I don't understand. Save me some time and just put them together. I can make a logic leap that you just moved into the next room. I don't need to do it.
There's like 13 or 14 hours of cutscenes. Seriously.
This is the way I look at it. I look at it as I'm watching an anime and then I get to play a game after I've watched my episode of the anime.
To be fair, you're early on, so they're opening up a lot of the story and everything. You get to a point where they just kind of go.
Callow says the next 190 hours are not like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I kept playing it because I kept wanting to get to the next cutscene because they are really good. They get very good along the way, but it just got to the point where I don't want to say the cutscenes weren't worth it, but I just had other things to do.
Yeah.
can't keep doing this anymore.
Yes, I have a hard cutoff point with the library. They'll come and kill you if you don't take the games back. So I'm basically trying to strike while the iron's hot because I am enjoying the game. Weirdly, I shouldn't. Against all odds, you know, it has anime tropes. It thank God the voice acting isn't annoying because that would be the killer for me if I had to hear.
That would do it.
But I mean, there's a lot of things here that I shouldn't like about it, but for some reason I have become bewitched and charmed by this game. Why are there enemies in the starting area that are level 990? I don't know. Why is there a giant monkey that can just kill me whenever it feels like? I don't know. A level 80 bird. You know, I'm walking around. I finally get to an open world and, you know, things are like start out at level 5 and 6 like me. And then it's like, oh, go to this town. It's the first town since you've left the trading center or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll make my way over to the town. On my way there, I see things that are like 3 times my level. Just plopped down with no reason.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That's Xenoblade. Like, that's just Xenoblade.
Well, they need to knock it off.
You can sneak around them. Xenoblade X, for me, I had so much fun with that because they drop you into this open world and there's just like level 90 dudes. You're like, whoa, I don't want them to see me at all.
Yes.
But then later on you come back and you're like, let's do this.
Oh, I'm going to kill them many, many times. Because
no, you're not. Not if you're subject to this rental because it's going to take 100 hours.
That's true. That's a good point. But I will say that they tend to find me at the most inopportune times, like when I'm, you know, battling other things my level, and then randomly this thing flies over my head, and it's like, I'm going to kill you now. And I'm just like, okay, I can't run away. So yeah, you're right. You are going to kill me. Thankfully, you just respawn. And it took me a second because I'm like, what am I missing here? What do I lose by dying? As far as I can tell, nothing really.
No.
You just go back to where the last place that you found. So that's something at least. The map system. My God.
Yes.
What a mess.
Caro's husband actually took some offense to me telling them like that is egregious. It's a mess. It's the worst open world guidance system I've ever seen. And I have no idea like what the thought was behind it. It's like, who thought this was a good idea?
It would be fine if okay, so you have a compass that points you in, it says this direction north, you head north, that's your next main quest. Okay, that's fine. But then you design a level where you have to travel up vines. There's like 3 different tiers.
Yep. And they're not like level 1, 2, 3. They all have their own different names.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then there's like, you have to worry about the water level apparently. And you know,
I'm not upset. I stopped playing this game.
I mean, and the sad thing, the weird thing is like with X, it was just a world map, like Breath of the Wild.
That's what I want. Like, yes.
Yeah.
I don't need to know everything on it.
You had to unlock towers to open up the map, but you just unlocked the map. Or no, not towers. You had to mine it. You had to like place these mine things to open up the cell on the map. And that was one of the many fetch quests you had to do, but it was just a map. And you could look at it and see it and know where you had to go. There'd be a marker. With this thing, it's like you have to go to one Titan, and then that Titan is broken into 5 levels, and those 5 levels are broken into 15 different pieces, and you can't see them all at one time.
Yes, that's the real problem. You have to
go to the level to see the thing, and it's just like half the time I don't even know where my marker is.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, I have no idea where I'm supposed to go. They just kind of point you in a direction, and you get there, and you have no idea if you need to go up or down. It's awful.
And that was the thing. I was looking to try to get to this where you get the ship from. You get your little ship or whatever. And it says, take the whatever backbone because it's some crazy name you're never going to remember. And it points you in a direction at the end of the cutscene. And I'm like, okay, I go up there. That seems obvious. No, you don't just go up there and keep going straight. You go up and then to the left and then you climb up a freaking tree tendril and try not to get killed by the level 80 thing that's flying above you because apparently it's everywhere at all times.
That sounds terrible.
You know what? Here's the funny thing. I have a story that you just reminded me of that like explains this very well. So in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the entire world sits above the clouds, right? There's like this ocean of clouds. There was a mission pretty early on that I had no idea where I was supposed to go. It was in that area, like that first Gourmet, that first open area.
Yep.
I kept going to the waypoint and I just kept hitting the end of the map. was like, what the hell? It's telling me to go this way. And I kept going up and down. I kept trying and trying and trying. Eventually, I looked it up on YouTube, and there's a part of the clouds where you have to jump into, and you can swim in the clouds. But
I thought you died if you fell off the map.
But you do. You do die if you fall off in the clouds in other areas.
In other areas.
It's like, but in this area, you can totally live.
I did it in town. I fell off, and I'm like, well, I'm dead. I'm going to get transported back. No, you can swim in town. That's fine. Getting out of there is another matter. I think I ended up like quick travel or skip traveling or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I did. It was insane.
Oh, and lastly, this isn't a criticism against the game. It's a criticism against my brain.
Oh boy.
I'm so used to the Xbox controller that the fact that there's a mini game to press like A, B, X, Y, I had to retrain my brain because X to me is not in the same place. It's in my brain. It's the Xbox controller. So I see A and I'm actually hitting B. And anytime you do your combo system, there are things in this game that haven't even been described to me or explained through a tutorial. And I've played for like 8 hours. Things are still happening, like the combo system and whatnot. But when you go diving, for instance, that's another mini game. And I'm just like, okay, yep. A, B, B. Shit, I'm pressing B when I mean to press A. What am I doing? My brain. So that's been tough too. But that's not a fault of the game. So other than that, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Other than all that stuff.
You know, the funny thing is, I totally think it's one of Switch's top 5 games. It's one of those. It's a hard to say because it's got a ton of flaws, and it's not for everybody. But the more you play it, the more rewarding it is. It got to a point where I was like severely loving the game, like almost like there are emotional points that almost choke you up a bit.
Oh
like,
no!
Seriously,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like the Vandom stuff, like when
don't spoil it.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but yeah, I mean, you're just like, dude,
don't spoil it for me.
From a pure narrative perspective, it's by far and away the best Xenoblade story, by far and away. Not even close. It blows everything else out of the water.
As somebody who hasn't played any of the other games, I can't speak to that, but
the Xenoblade X story was terrible. It was like aliens are coming, we have to prepare, and that's it. And then like you don't even get like a good, you don't even get like a good outcome at the end.
Oh, just like Mass Effect.
yeah. But I still say, because I think X will get ported over to Switch. I'm pretty sure. Like they've hinted at it a lot. X is more fun to play. The battling system is more action heavy.
Yes.
The traversal is more fun. It's more like a Monster Hunter game than a Xenoblade game.
I'm glad you said the battle system, because my God, I don't know what's going on half the time. I just press the buttons that come up because it's just a giant wave of things just moving across the screen. And every once in a while there'll just be effects and you're just like, okay, my combo went off or whatever. But there's like information, there's like, I don't even know what the seal thing is, and
there's elemental weaknesses that I didn't realize until I was like 3 hours into the game.
Yeah. And I'm just like, it took me a while because I'm like, am I doing this right? Because right now I'm just standing around. I don't even have to attack.
Like,
I just stand
select attack and then time the quick time event, and you just keep doing it. It's more fun that way.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, this one's not my best battle system. It's fine, but it's not like in X. I felt more engaged. Okay. And X was also a lot more fun. You could just like jump off the highest cliff and like dive to the ground and take off running and stuff. And you get a giant mech and you get to fly it around and fight giant monsters. It's more fun that way.
I do like giant mechs. I was gonna say, like,
everybody does.
Like Jason has said, I'd rather take a Xenogears over a Xeno Chronicle, Xenoblade Chronicle.
And you know, in a lot of ways, Xenoblade X is kind of Xenogears. Like the entire, now you got to play the game for like 70 hours before you get your mech. So that's not for everybody, but
that's not fun.
No.
But once you get the mech, it is pretty fun.
You only get to use it for 10 hours though. And then
you do have to repair it a lot though.
This does not sound like Xenogears at all. This sounds like poop.
So yeah, speaking of poop, that's what I did for a while over the week. And that's all I got.
That's all you got. Well, really quick, we'll run it through. Dan Anthony sent me a little bit Twitter. He said, "Hey, vomit noise."
Little bit of Twitter.
NHL and Jägermeister have entered into an agreement in which Jägermeister will become an official partner of the NHL in the U.S. with the designation official shot of the NHL.
God, only the NHL.
Have some black licorice.
Shots.
Blah. So with that, I think we're going to be done with Fluxtaposed. Dan, thank you, as always.
That was weird. I pressed both. Apparently, you can press both things at the same time. And that's what I did.
You get a cool mashup. Dan, thank you for always contributing. We love you, Dan. You're an awesome guy. Donnie, where can people find you? If they don't already know.
On Nintendo Switch Online, we're playing River City Showdown right now.
Oh yeah, I should get my.
And you can actually friend me on Nintendo Switch just by following me on Twitter at @PlayNintendo, as dubbed by Sean Capri. Ain't no G's in.
I need to do that. We're not friends. Can you believe that?
That's ridiculous. That's not possible.
You're in his family group and he's paying for your Switch Online. You're not even friends with him.
Oh no, we are now. We are now.
As I said, we have to be. We played Overcooked, which we need to play more of.
Yes, we do. We do. I agree.
But we have to play online Tecmo Bowl first.
Okay.
How are we gonna do that? Because there's 3 of us and only 2 players.
You have to watch. Because
can my pants be off while I'm watching?
Sure.
It's not weird.
Totally optional. You can follow me at JW Lacey, the show Fluxtaposed. Give us an iTunes review. It'd be awesome. Lucas, he's there. Heavy Metal Ref. He's an awesome guy.
Don't follow me. And
we have to say, hey, check out patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. You can help support the little show that could. And we have to say thank you to all our patrons, but a special thanks to our Arbiters of Awesomeness, Kevin Austin, Kyle Heyman, Edwin Callow, Tyler Rellin, Tom Servo, and our Executors of Excellence, Josh Barbone, Dan Anthony, and Sirene. Thank you guys for your support. We appreciate it. We hope to see you soon for another episode of the podcast. And we'll do it again next week with our OC Remix Extravaganza.
Wow.